If for some reason you've ever wondered what Get Out would look like if the characters were vacationing on the English countryside with James McAvoy, then boy do I have the movie for you. It's time to talk about Speak No Evil. What's up, guys? I'm Sully, and today I'm excited because we're talking about the brand new, messed up psychological thriller with James McAvoy, Speak No Evil. All you need to know about this one is that the story goes like this. A family is invited to spend a weekend in a scenic country house, unaware that their dream vacation will soon become a psychological nightmare. So I want to start this one off by saying that as a general rule of thumb, I'm usually very against the practice of a super effective foreign film releasing, a US studio buying up the rights to the story, and then an English-speaking version coming out just a couple years later. It's redundant, it's lazy, and it shows just how many people still avoid a small 1-inch bar of subtitles at the bottom of their screen like the plague. But if you want to try to win me over, the least you could do is to really go out of your way to make this remake differentiate itself from the source material and stand alone on its own 2 feet. And I'm happy to report that somehow that's exactly what happens with this new version of Speak No Evil. Boasting a great performance from James McAvoy, some crowd-pleasing moments I wasn't expecting, and awkwardness that would make the strongest man crumble, this is a messed up ride worth taking. Now, if you're familiar with the original movie at all, you already know that this isn't a horror film in the sense that you'll be hit with an abundance of jump scares and crazy kills, but what it does do is make you feel like something is kind of off that you can't really put your finger on, and preys on those feelings of being uncomfortable and uneasy for the entire duration of the film. If you thought last year's family Christmas party was awkward, buckle up, because they take that reaction and crank it up to 11 in this movie. And that's before those legitimate thriller aspects even get going. But something that I wasn't expecting, and maybe this is also true about the original but didn't translate well with the subtitles, is just how funny this movie was. Even during times of panic and anguish, it somehow finds a way to be goofy in all the best ways and uses humor to get you more on board with the twisted ride you're seeing on screen. Now, what makes this movie interesting is exactly what made the original interesting as well, examining this notion of how we're brought up to be polite and avoid confrontation at all costs, but also exploring what happens when you're faced with someone who isn't afraid to exploit that idea and will take everything that you have if you let them. And seeing that play out in the most over-the-top and absurd ways in this film is very entertaining. I will say though, since the tone of this version is more humorous than the original film, I think it loses a lot of that lasting emotional punch that you get from the movie it was based on. Everybody that has seen the original will never forget how it ends, and this remake, interestingly, doesn't try to replicate that conclusion even a little bit. And that's definitely not a bad thing. If you want to watch a depressing thriller that will leave you in the fetal position when it ends, go watch the original. But if you're looking for a rowdy popcorn movie thriller that will have you shouting at the screen and laughing from beginning to end, this new version will do just fine. I do wish that they took another risk or two with how they decided to wrap it all up to really close it out with a bang, because it is a bit predictable, but I'd be lying if I said that it wasn't a lot of fun. When it comes to the performances, obviously the main draw here is James McAvoy. It's always a treat when we get to see him go full sicko mode, and the guy clearly loves these roles where he has to be an unpredictable feral lunatic for it to leave an impact. He does a great job here, coming off as a dude that's nice on the surface, but has some weird, sketchy vibe to him behind that inviting smile, and he ends up being the glue that holds this whole thing together. All of the other performances in here are pretty solid, and they have to be for a movie like this to work in the first place. I think the two hardest states of mind for actors to portray believably are being drunk and being uncomfortable, and they have to do both of those a lot in this movie, and it always came off as organic and authentic. At the end of the day, the third act of this film is basically like watching a family get dropped into a psycho-filled countryside haunted house attraction and seeing if they have what it takes to make it out in one piece. Far from being the most unique or inspired setup we've seen in recent horror films, but I'd be shocked to learn that you walked out of this one without being entertained. Overall, guys, Speak No Evil is a rare case of a foreign remake that not only captures what made the original worthwhile, but actually finds a way to differentiate differentiate itself from what came before it. It definitely goes for more of the crowd-pleasing entertainment route than the crippling, anxiety-inducing route that the Danish film excels at, but I don't know if I've heard a crowd hooting and hollering to this degree in a long time. I wish that it took a couple more risks, but James McAvoy is completely unhinged, the tension is utilized effectively, and the third act is a total roller coaster ride. Speak No Evil gets a Sully score of 3.5 stars. So that's my review for the latest psychological thriller. What's a remake that you think is actually better than the original film? Let me know in the comments below because I don't think there are that many good examples. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys at the next one.